Hello and welcome back to Don't Just Talk About It, Walk About It. My name is Ammie Brandon and I have these two beautiful ladies with me.
It's me, cousin Keisha.
And it's me, Pretty Toni, and we're from Vixens Vibe. We are very happy to be on your podcast again.
Thank you. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
So I wanted to kind of touch on another subject today, and this one is definitely something we can walk about. That's why I named the podcast "Don't Just Talk About It, Walk About It" because it covers a broad spectrum of things. Today, I wanted to talk about loving the wrong person. Recently, I received a message from somebody I used to love with everything in me, and I wanted to pour into that person and their children as much as I could in hopes that it would be reciprocated to me, and it never was. Um, and the trigger, for lack of a better word, was this video I saw about loving the wrong person. And it just opened my mind and my it kind of pissed me off because why would this person send me that? That's inappropriate. But I felt like it was also appropriate and also a segue for me to let that person know how I felt about what I did to them and what I tried to pour into them and how it wasn't reciprocated. But it did lead me to true love. It did lead me to a place where my heart was safe and secure. And,
hmm
it led me to experience true love that some people never experience it. So,
So ultimately, at least that was a positive out of that negative.
it was definitely, and even though, I just recently lost my husband, I've been saying lately, if I never fall in love again, I know what it was and I felt it and I lived his love and I still live his love to this day. So,
You know, they
That's
say
so.
sometimes we get an angel, or they
hmm
say we get a gift. I read this book a long time ago. It was called The Gift. And sometimes people just come as a gift and they may leave, but you always have that gift that they gave you.
yep.
So if nothing else, I'm happy that you
hmm
came from that one situation and was gifted something much better. And like you said, regardless to what you do from here on out, you do have a amazing gift and blueprint, that you can follow
Yes.
now. So
Yes.
I'm happy, cousin, for you. I just want to say my
hmm
condolences to you also,
Me
Thank
as
you.
for your
well.
loss.
And to have had a love so effortless, with no work, it's just natural, meant to be. It's definitely a beautiful thing. I mean, like you said, many people will never feel that feeling of just being loved endlessly with no regret, with no effort, with no working hard to do it. It just happens.
And when you had
I
when
mean,
you
and you don't know it until you get there. You
yeah, you're
may
right.
think you have had love before until this love is like nothing you've ever experienced.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that person doesn't have to be there, doesn't have to be in your face, doesn't have to say a word. It's just the energy is there and it never fades. It's
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
like I said, my condolences, but you know, regardless, when you wake up in the morning, you still feel that feeling of to have been loved by someone beautifully. That will never go away.
It won't. And it also set the bar and raised the standards because I won't say that I settled, but I didn't know
Yeah, and
what it
it's usually
was.
like when you know better, you do better.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, period.
When you dealing with somebody that's not your person though, too, it can take so much of a toll on you.
Oh my
Mhm.
God.
It can be so toxic on
Woo.
your aura and your body and your
Mhm.
mind and your spirit, and you don't always know it. So finding out, being able to even talk about this and somebody that may not even know still right now
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that that's happening to them
Mm-hmm.
is
Mhm.
is is a beautiful thing. It's a blessing. I hope somebody is here gets this message today, because we could talk until we blue in the face, but if
Right.
we don't have, like, at the end of it, you know, like at the end of the rainbow, if it's not a pot of gold, you may have not wanted to follow that rainbow. But at the
Right.
end of this, if we can't give some type of testimony, like I know I can say I've been in a toxic relationship and I got out
Yes.
of that relationship and I was staying with the person for different reasons because I was feeling sorry for them and
Right.
you know
Right.
trying to do stuff for them, but I wasn't really thinking about me all the time. And when it got to the point where I had to start thinking about me, because it's like, well, how long am I going to think about you or try to
Right. Right.
stay in
Right.
this for you or because of you or because I feel
Right.
sorry for you? But now I'm starting to feel sorry for me because I'm
Mm-hmm.
creating a monster by staying with this person that I don't need to be with. I need to get with somebody that's better for me. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Right.
moving on from that is one of the best things I could have ever did. But I learned a lot of what not to accept now going into other relationships. I can
Yeah.
say that I'm happy I did learn that because I didn't get into a relationship for a long time, a committed relationship, and I didn't get serious about a relationship until recently because I didn't see my person. I didn't have my person. They wasn't
Right.
right there. And I needed that person in order to say, okay, I needed to feel safe and I needed to feel like this person. And it'll happen like that. If it's your person, it'll happen really quick, you know, which
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But the person I'm with
Yeah.
now is my person. Like they make me feel good. They make me feel safe, protected, comfortable. Nothing toxic is going on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not nothing vindictive. I'm not overly comforting them
Mhm.
while they're doing something they shouldn't
Right.
be
Right.
doing, you
Right. Right.
know.
Right. Right.
And even with you, Amy, seeing you and talking to you, even with, you know, your husband passing, I still see the love that is still within you and
Right.
upon
Right.
you, and he's not even here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that definitely is a blessing
Yes.
because some people have never experienced that. Some people have never experienced anything but just that wrong person, that
Yeah.
toxic person.
Mhm.
You know, so
Some
Or
people are married to
force.
the wrong
Yeah.
person.
oh, child, yeah, yeah.
They went as
Just
far as to
forcing it.
even be married and stay in that marriage because now you have social media there and you want people to think that there's a certain level of perfection in your life. Well, me and my husband weren't perfect. We argue sometimes. Sometimes we argue because he wanted to stack money and I wanted to spend money. And we'll talk about that
Right.
at
Right.
another time
Right.
too, because I learned a lot from him. Um, just about budgeting and being aware of
Mm-hmm.
what I was spending and waiting to spend money. And, there were certain things he may have put on the credit card, but before I knew it, that credit card was paid off.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain credit cards, that he would put things on, but it definitely taught me that I needed to be patient
Mm-hmm.
and things didn't come overnight. And with that, I knew that he did that stuff because he loved me. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that he told me to wait, not because it was a no, it was a wait because when we have it now, it could be better and we don't have to be stressed about it and it doesn't cause any more conflict.
Right. Right.
It make you feel so much better when you have a person you could just tell the shift in what you have to do in that relationship as a
Yes.
woman. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because there's a shift in my relationship. Like I've never had nobody that's so on point with everything as far as just checking in, calling me every day, wanting to verbally talk every day, not just texting,
Mm-hmm.
not getting a bunch of what you doing all day
Yeah.
long. Like somebody, just letting you know the basic things that they feel like as my woman you should know. I don't have to figure
Mhm.
nothing out or guess nothing. It's not like 10 hours going by and I'm wondering where this person at, like
Yeah.
them wanting to be out loud with me, wanting everybody to know this my woman, this my girl, like wanting to show me off, and it's a lot of people I didn't even know had wives until Valentine's Day. Until
Mhm.
Right.
on social
Mhm.
media. You know what I'm
Now
saying?
that
Like
shit
Yes.
on
happens
Val on
Yes.
constantly.
Valentine's Day, I see some of my,
You know
male
more the
partners
next day.
popping up with the
Then
Right.
wife.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, he got a wife? Like I never knew the whole year that, and
Right.
I'm not saying that you got to put all your business out there either. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Right.
right,
saying it for
right,
that.
right, right.
I'm just saying I don't even know a lot of people are married until Valentine's
Right.
Right.
because there's absolutely nothing said. Like even if you just said in passing my wife, you don't have to post a
Mm,
picture of her. Y'all don't got to be holding hands in pictures. But people that's in a relationship, you do tend to know that they got somebody.
right,
And I
right, right.
literally see, people that they kind of hide it. They don't want nobody to know. So
But
it's
you know a lot about the side chick in the
oh
15.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
You know?
I can never
Yeah.
be the side chick either.
Yeah, I'm not
I
made
want
for
to
it
say
either.
I'm not side chick
Not made
material.
for it.
Right.
I'm not cut out for a
And
side chick.
that's one thing I never even thought about.
Right.
With the person that I was dealing with prior, there was definitely other women that he was dealing with. And, that was the reason he didn't, one of
Mm.
the reasons he didn't want to commit or
Mhm.
settle or, just accept the fact that, our situation was more than that. And I think that he realized that after I was gone because I'm the shit. And
Yeah.
I'm just going to say
Yeah.
that, and if I don't think that about myself, nobody else will.
Correct.
And if I
Absolutely
also
right.
give my all and my shit to somebody who isn't able to process it or deal with it or treat it, then you end up running in circles. When
Mhm.
you talked about text messages, I was just going through my husband's phone and looking at all of the text messages because I don't know how most of them got erased out of my phone, but just every day, even on my birthday, he texted my mom and thanked her for giving birth to the love of
Oh,
his life.
that's what I'm talking about.
I would
So
call my mom
sweet.
and complain and say, he don't want to let me do this or he don't want to let me do that. And instead of her saying something to me, she said, thank you for treating my daughter like a princess. And that was a moment I had to think like, ooh, my mom is hard and she don't even say princess. So let me sit back and take this in and take these foot rubs and take these back rubs. And like I said, it wasn't perfect. We had our times where we bumped heads, but every night he kissed me goodnight. And every morning after he touched my hip, he said, I love you. And I went off to work and he sent me a text message um, telling me how much he loved me or a song. Like
Mhm.
there's so many songs that remind me of him. Like when I get in the car and I go through my playlist, the waterfalls just start sometimes because that's the most time where I listen to music. When I'm at home, I'm either work messing with my plants or scrolling on something or listening to a podcast or listening to um, a lecture or something like that. So
Yeah.
when I have my moments and in my memories, it's mainly about music because every Friday we would come home and we would just sit in the garage and drink a beer or me smoke or whatever I was doing and we would listen to music. The man was the whitest R&B expert I ever met. Like, what's this song? What's this song? We would even call my friend and he would try to quiz her on, have you heard this? And we'd be like, no, it's not music trivia night. Like anything, any activity we were doing, he incorporated music into it. So, he would tell me week by SWV what grade he was in, who he danced with at the dance, like just those intricate details that he wanted to share with me and why music meant so much to him. So he instilled that in me. There's certain artists that I listen to, but I mean, even now, I listen to country music because of him. I like
Mhm.
Jelly Roll. I like Struggle Jennings. I like Tom McDonald. I like those artists because I'm not just listening for a beat or a hook or
Right, right,
whatever. I'm listening to these people pour their hearts out like
right.
he poured his heart into me. Um,
Right.
and like you said, he does still live in me. I still live his love and his light and his everything that he instilled in me. Even some of the bad things, like, yeah, I could definitely be a little bit neater. Now that he's gone, there's clothes on his side of the bed. And I'm like, Ammie, you know better. But I think that's, part of my grieving. And I just feel like I don't want to do things sometimes.
Right.
But definitely his love and light still lives in me and I'm able to not accept a compliment the way I used to accept compliments because I know that there's a reason for that compliment and
Correct,
it's not
correct.
genuine.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you have dealt with some toxic things, it makes the stuff that the back, stuff that's like when you get with your person, it makes it so much better. I be feeling like I'm a little corny sometimes, recently, because I'll be saying the most corniest stuff to Jason now. I'll be like when I be texting him and I be just having these little paragraphs and I'll be like, you definitely my person. Like I never used to say stuff like that
Mhm.
to nobody. And he'd just be like, well, how do you know? Or like, and I'll be like, because I'm I've changed, for this relationship. Like
Right.
there's things that I'm not even willing to entertain
Mhm.
because I'm so comfortable in this relationship. You make me feel safe and secure and you let me know you love me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
and even if it's something that I'm not extremely like, it wasn't my idea. Like the tagging me on Facebook, that wasn't my idea, but I wasn't mad about it though. It was
Right.
just that I'm not, I don't think he realizes how much people, when they get in your business, people
How much
try
they
to,
want to interfere
yeah, they
or
they try to, and
interject.
not even just for me. People,
Be judgmental.
hating on
Mm-hmm.
me like, oh, oh, so now you got a man, but not even that. Him not knowing how I think from experience of just more women gonna be on you now too, because
Yeah.
now they know you got a girl, like you got all these women on the thing.
Yes.
Congratulations, and you know how we think as women, we like reading, who would
Right.
this be? Like sometimes we be thinking
All
like
the
that,
time.
but I'll
Right.
just like, but and then somebody else, one of my girlfriends was like, oh, she was like, it's so high school, but it's so cute. Like, so she said something a little haterish,
Don't give me a
but then,
backhanded
but then
compliment.
she tried to say, but it's cute, or whatever. And I was like, you know what? It's what he. And then somebody else said, oh shit, he claiming you in the open. He's showing he love you. Like
Right. So it's
so.
all about
Yeah,
perception.
so it's
Right.
like you
Right.
could think whatever you want, but when you know it's your person, it's somebody that like they're literally making you happy. And I can always switch back to somebody who acted kind of funny or like acted like I'll mess with somebody younger and they made little comments like you lucky to be with me because I'm younger. And I'm like, hold on. I'm not lucky to be with you because I have a lot of younger guys that want to
Right.
be with
Right.
me. Hold on. You are not the only one. And I could bring them around right now. I don't even think about stuff like that with him. Like my mind don't even take off to that. But when you with the wrong person, it could bring out a whole nother side of you too.
Absolutely. It
And
turns you into a detective.
Right.
From day one, I never wanted to touch his phone. He had it open, there was no lock on it, and I gave him the password to my phone. I've also gone through my Facebook instant messages and showed him, like, even after we got married, how many guys would just, hit me up. And I don't know if they wanted to be disrespectful because he was a white man and they were black. I don't understand
probably,
why people
Yeah. I
think
was gonna say that
that
probably.
too.
they can just be blatantly disrespectful and overly sexual to me because I'm married now. Like, yeah, you gave me compliments before, but now it's like, ooh, what you want to do? And I'm like, you're never going to get a chance to. Matter of fact, let me mute your messages, but you can still watch the Ammie show. I'm not, I don't have to disconnect you.
Right.
I just need to shut you down
Uh-huh.
because you're not going to make that comment on a post. You rather jump in my inbox, and I've even gone as far as to send people's videos that they've sent me and post them on their page and go and tag their family members in it. Like, look what your son did in my inbox, and he
Now
knows I'm married.
that's a good
So,
one.
there's I've had my tactics and I've had my ways of ignoring you or shutting you down, but it just made me realize, like, people have the illest intentions when it comes to someone who's committed. Certain people, not
But
everybody.
what is that about? Because it's like I just before he tagged me in that post, I wouldn't get none of those messages. It's like this one dude was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna take you from him. Like you lucky I ain't out there, but when I get out there, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that." And and it was just like, and then they expect you. They'll say something to compliment you, but to tear down the person you with and think you finna
Hmm.
be happy about it. And so I had to, check somebody and let them know. I was like, no. I'm not too hot for him.
Right.
I'm just right for him. And then somebody else like, oh, I bet you he can't even handle you. And I was like, he is doing an amazing job, and that's why you have no play. Like,
Exactly.
I actually, I smiled when you was talking, Amy, because I actually gave him the password to my phone the other day. He was holding my phone. I never give a man the password to my phone. Like it is just, it is a no no. And but he was like, I don't have no passcode or nothing on my phone. He was like, ain't no females calling my phone. I ain't text them. I mean, he was just so open. I ain't never really had a man say that.
Right.
If anything, they phone be turned over, he had tucked over here, so it was just like kind of refreshing for somebody to say that, like I don't, it ain't nothing to worry about. And so he don't really got nothing, he don't have nothing to worry about now. I told him when we first got together that first week, I was like, just let everybody know,
Let
you
me
know what I'm
wean
saying?
them out.
Yeah, because I because I did it took I had to, get some people out of there, and I didn't want it to seem like, like I wasn't gonna be right on that same page as him. But you know, you have to text a few people or call a few people or whatever and just make sure they get that message. You know, everybody don't get the message. I had this one dude trying to be a stalker and like I had to block him, but I blocked him 3 different times. And so when I was showing him, yeah, I was showing Jason the little stuff he was saying. he talking about he talking about, do you want to meet up later? And Jason talking about, ask him, do he want to meet on 35th? I was like,
Let's
baby,
take it to the
I was like,
streets.
baby, I'm just gonna block him. I'm not gonna let him, you know, bother me or irritate me. Cause he definitely not my person. But he was like, he was saying, FYI, I have matter of fact, this how he said it, which is so ignorant. He said, FYI, I got a bitch now. And I was like, I don't even know why he
I'm not
said this.
interested in you.
And I said, well, I have a man. And so then he was like, it sounded like you lying. Cause you didn't just say you had no man until I just said I had a woman. And I was like, first of all, I ain't been texting you or hitting you or calling you because I had blocked you. So there was no reason for me to
But
tell you
why
I have a
would you
man.
even be contacting me if
But you
you
got,
got a woman?
yeah. And I was like, I
disrespecting her.
wish y'all all
Right.
the best. You know, he even sent me a picture of his woman in a compromising position. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad that something told me don't mess with you like in that way. Cause
Yeah.
that picture was so
Right.
Disrespectful.
Guys like
personal.
that, you wonder if they even respect their own mothers and
Right.
sisters.
I don't, if
Cause
this,
baby, let me tell you, if they don't respect their mama, you done.
You're
oh
not
yeah,
getting nothing.
you right. Cause
You
You got
done.
nothing
my
coming.
baby love his mama, take good care of his mama. And she, you know,
Yeah.
not even feeling
My
good
guy,
right
he
now.
takes
but-
good care of his mom.
And
Yeah.
you see when you could see that when and then he
Very
still
good,
make
sir.
time for me, I'd be like, damn, you be going through a lot. You been working all day and then take care of your mom, clean up the house, doing all and then but you still make sure you reach out to me, like no matter what. And that's what I love. That's why I was like, don't let nobody make because people make you feel weird because somebody want to be in a relationship with you. You know, like, and that's
Because
weird.
of their own insecurities, they
I was
project
gonna
them
say
onto
that,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, why do I and I was like, why
Or
do I
even
feel
just the
like
thought
this?
of you not being available for
Mhm.
them anymore,
Mhm.
how they want you to be.
Mhm.
You know, it's just like
Some
let's.
people I just blocked them because I was like,
Mhm.
I don't even want to like, I don't owe you no explanation. I know that you're not my person. I know you're not right for me. And I even told I let I had some people that I felt like I was close enough with to just let them know and not just completely ghost them because I felt
Right,
like we
right,
did
right,
have
right.
some type of we was cool enough for me to tell them, but I was just like, um, I told you what I wanted and you couldn't give it to me. And we tried at it for I don't know how long, and then somebody come along and just without me even asking gives me everything I want. And on top of that, want to be in a committed relationship,
Right, right,
want to
right.
claim me, love me, tell me, you know, that they love me, appreciate me, want me at their house. You know, I'm already met their mother. You know,
Right.
so I'm just like, it just goes to show you how people make time for what they want.
Well,
You know,
Brian
that's
was
most
definitely
definite.
amused with the attention that I got, and he
oh
would
yeah,
beam
yeah,
with pride.
because
He
I know
would be
you was
like, "Babe,
getting.
all these guys was looking at you, and it just, and I'm just, it's funny to me, but they giving me the side eye looking at you." I remember we were in a Pack and Save, and there was either a Pepsi or a Coca-Cola guy there, restocking the shelves, and I seen him look at us. And then he just stopped doing what he was doing and kind of stared at us to be like, I guess he was like, are they together or are they together? And then the third thing he did was kind of just his mouth was open and his head was
Like
cocked to the
really?
side a little bit.
Yeah.
And Brian, he loved that. Like anywhere we would go, he would be like, "Did you?" Yeah, everybody was looking at my babe, and not everybody, of course, but
Yeah.
some people were looking because they're surprised or amused. Some people are looking because, oh, how did she get him and how did he get her? Some people wanted to know if he was a Raiders because he was a big husky guy and he always wore a Raiders jersey. So a lot of people thought he was a football player. And sometimes I used to be like, yep, he sure was. Or, he'd be like, nah, but I'm a Raiders fan or whatever. But he just beamed in pride when people paid attention to me or guys checked me out. We were somewhere
Black
where
women can have somebody that does that. A lot
Mhm.
of narrative I see when I'm on my podcast on Vixens Vibe. A lot of times I do address a lot of the interracial stuff,
Mhm. Mhm.
Right.
and but I do it from and I'm bringing this up because You know, he was a white man, you a black woman, and a lot of my standpoint comes from the opposite of a black man hating or saying he hates black women, and saying, one of my friends in particular would always say, I love Asian women, I love Filipino women, I love, you know, this, you know, particular type of woman. And so I've done a couple of podcasts on that because I didn't appreciate the way he would tear us down while, you know,
lifting them up.
lifting up what he liked.
Right.
And I would tell him, I don't mind you, like, it's not my business what you like, and it's not my place to tear down no woman, no race that you like.
Right.
But I'm not gonna allow you to tear down
Yeah.
black women
Right.
just because you like another
Right.
race of women better, you know. And it goes both ways. You know, if it's a black man seeing you with a white man, it's like, don't try to tear him down just because that's not your preference. And you
Right.
know, you might not want a white woman. I
You
have a
know,
white man.
undoubtedly, I am the foundation to
Right.
everything.
Right.
You
And
know,
I just say love who loves you the
Right,
way you need to
right,
be
right.
loved. Did I say, oh, I'm going to get with him because he's white? No, that had nothing to do with it. We
Right.
were friends for a long time. I did have someone ask me, quote unquote, why are you marrying that white bread? It's black men out here who have feelings for you. I have feelings for you. Well, that ship has sailed off into the sea.
Right,
Like,
right.
why are we even having this discussion right now? Is this because, like, what? Like, you
And
had,
technically, why does his color matter?
it didn't to
It
me.
shouldn't matter.
It didn't.
Well, see, and
To
that's
me.
why I used to get irritated at my friend for always, because I used to be like, you don't even got to tell me what race of woman this woman is. I've never hated on you and that woman or
Right.
no other woman. You mainly deal with non-black women, but he would just make it this big deal, and he would make it his business to point out, oh, I don't mess with black women, and he would say why, and it would be something negative. But then at
Right.
the end of the day, he would need me, or you know, come to me when it, you know, when he was down and out, or, you know, needed to be uplifted. It was never the Asian or the whatever woman he chose. It was never her that could bring him out of his slump that he was in. It was always this strong black woman. And so I would just look at him like, why are you even, you know, like, your person is
Don't
your
put
person.
emphasis on
It don't
that.
have nothing to
Right,
do with
right,
what,
right,
you
right,
know, but he
right.
would tear us down. He would say black women ain't shit. You know, he would say, y'all got the short hair, y'all ain't got no long hair, no good credit. He would just say some ignorant shit. And when he's at the bottom right now, it's not, and he's still there. It's not one Filipino or Asian woman that's there uplifting him or trying to pull him out of that hole that he's now in and still in. I actually
Right.
could have probably pulled him out of it, but I'm not gonna do that because I need to focus on my person.
Right,
You know,
right, right.
I need to have my attention focused on who's gonna love me and care for me, and who I can give that love back to, and it's reciprocated. I'm not gonna waste my time on somebody that don't appreciate me as a black woman. You know,
Especially not at this age.
No.
You know, we've been there, done that. Adult children, grandchildren. It's just like, who has time for that? You know?
yeah,
Right.
I don't. I would say, as somebody coming from the last relationship I was in, being a little bit more toxic, I would just say that know those warning signs and
Right,
them alarms that go off, you
right,
know.
right.
And don't lose yourself in that process.
Yes.
Don't
Yeah.
lose yourself in that
I agree.
process.
I agree.
You can too. It's so easy to get caught up in what somebody else is saying about you or to you. It is so easy for somebody, like this person used to say stuff to me, and I would not realize, because it's hard to tear me down because I'm such a strong black woman. I come from such a strong foundation, a black queen that always wore an actual crown.
Yes.
So I knew
Yes.
what I
Yes.
came
Sure
from.
did.
Shout
every
out
day.
to Auntie
So-
Renee.
So it
Yes.
was just hard. You can't tear me down. You can't say
Yes.
something to me that just had me like, oh my God. And he would say stuff like, well, I know you insecure about your weight, or like, and I would say, wait, what? And I'd be like, I'm not insecure about my weight. Like and I would be looking at him like, why are you saying that? And I had to be,
He was probably the one.
yeah, he
insecure
was,
about
because
some
like
things.
you the only one saying something about it. Like, what? Well, I know deep down, and he was, and so I've had one of my friends say, she ain't never been insecure about her weight, like, you know.
Right, right.
And let me just say this too. I'm a big woman. I know that I'm never gonna glorify being unhealthy or being overweight.
Correct.
But in the very
correct.
same breath, I'm going to love and accept the
And
body
be
and skin I'm
confident with-
in,
Exactly.
Yes.
and while I'm in it. Yes, and be
Mhm.
confident within myself. And I always have been. So I just didn't understand this weird, he was trying to, project onto me whatever he felt. And I was like, I don't feel insecure about myself. And I'm
Right.
very confident with myself, even overweight or not. And if you don't want to mess with a woman that's overweight, you don't need to be with me.
Well,
Right.
there's a lot of stereotypes that society has made for plus size women. Like, you're willing to accept whatever you get because, or you're willing to do anything because you're
Child.
plus size. And that's not the case. It's most plus size women, they got their shit together. They having it their way.
Yeah.
It's just, you do have women that are insecure and they could be skinny, tall, short,
Right.
of any color, you know
And
just because they've been hurt by
I've had
someone,
a lot more skinnier women
used.
insecure around me
Yeah,
than I've had bigger women. I've had a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
smaller women insecure with me, and I'm bigger and saying stuff to me like, "How are you so secure with yourself?" And just to segue it back and even into the relationship standpoint, I've always had a man that loved and appreciated me,
Uh-huh.
Right, right,
that
right,
and
right,
loved me for
right.
everything, the skin I
Exactly,
was in, how I
exactly.
looked, my complexion, my weight, whatever. He
Uh-huh.
appreciated and loved me. And if I felt like he didn't or that person didn't, I got away from them. Yeah, I
Right,
Right.
got away
right,
from them
right,
because
Right.
they
right, right.
wasn't my person.
Because a lot of
Okay.
times just accepting what is given to you and forgiving and going, oh, he didn't mean that.
Sh-
A
That's
person,
that
when
whole
they show you how they feel, believe them.
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
Believe that.
Exactly. And
Believe
don't try
that.
to change it,
Believe
which
it.
takes me back to why
Sometimes
we
you foggy and blinded
Mhm.
by love, but if you can turn on the high beams just a little bit and see what's really on the other side of that,
Right.
go with that.
Right.
Go with that.
Well, that just takes me back to why we had this conversation because everybody is not for everybody. And if you
Right,
end up
right.
with the wrong person, you need to do several things. You need to be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be consistent with who you are and don't change.
Yes.
And you also may need to be alone for a while until you figure
Bingo.
out
I was
what
just
it
about to say
is
that. You took the words out of my mouth. Yes.
No,
that you want
Yes.
and
I
don't
did that.
want,
Because a
what
lot
you'll
of times
accept.
women just accept stuff because they don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be alone because they scared to be
Yep.
alone.
I was
Yep.
You
scared to
know,
be alone.
me too.
It
I
is
have been
scary.
before.
I've never been
I've been
alone. And
before.
I've always had from
And
the age of
accepting
like,
things that I normally wouldn't accept, but the fear of being alone or, being in traumatizing situations, family situations, whatever, and you don't want to be alone. And you feel like your mental state is not as healthy as it should be. So
Mhm.
you let things fly over your head because you just feel like you need somebody.
Yep.
But when you take the time out to step back, you much stronger standing alone
Yep.
than being with anybody ever.
Yep. All right. Well, that was a great conversation, ladies. I'm glad we touched on that topic. Everybody, thank you for joining us.
but
Don't
thank
just
Thank
talk about it,
you.
walk about it.
I
And
also
I'm
want to say,
so looking forward to
I want to
becoming part of, I mean, not becoming part of your podcast, but
Right.
guest starring on your
Oh, you
podcast, Vixens
absolutely.
Vibe. I'm
That's
looking
coming up
forward to
soon.
it.
I want to just give a shout out to Bay Area Podcast. That is where we are right now. That's who,
Yes.
that's what made this possible for us
Yes.
Yes.
to be
Y'all come
together
check it out.
in this ambient. So we definitely want to check it
Yes.
out.
It's wonderful
Vixen's
in here.
Vibe will be back here very soon. And Amy, you'll definitely be a part of that. I love your podcast. I just
Me
want to say
too.
congratulations to your
Thank
podcast.
you.
I think that it's wonderful. I think that the being on two of your podcasts is amazing.
Right.
So I feel privileged that I was able to be on not one but two, and I definitely look forward to being on one, being on more in the
Yes.
future.
Yes,
Yes.
most definitely. And yes, shout out to Bay Area Podcast. I appreciate you and I appreciate all of this and I'm looking forward to coming back.
We'll be back soon.
Bye bye, guys.